All right, so today we are talking about some slightly more advanced Java output. What you have to see here in this particular case, you have 7 plus 8 plus 9, and the output for this one is going to be 24. Now, notice there are no quotes anywhere in this. That means there's no string. So when there is no string at all, the plus signs are used as plus signs, adding. So the plus sign has two different operations. It's either going to add two things together because it's math, or it's going to concatenate them, meaning put them together like cook plus book would. Okay, and I'll show you that in the next example. So for this one, 7 here is a number, okay? And if we plus two strings, two quotes. Two quotes, remind yourself that that is called a string literal, meaning a string literal is a word. It doesn't have to be a word, but whatever is within, that's how I like to think of it. It just makes it a little clearer for me. Anytime there are quotes, that simply means that anything inside that is going to be output. So right now, there's literally nothing inside it, or you can think there was a space if we put a space there. So what it says is, because the plus sign can be two different things, the plus sign can be addition and it can be a concatenation. This plus after a string is automatically concatenated. So that means that 8 is like cook. Let's do it a little higher. Is like cook, and 9 is like book, and then together they're cookbook. Okay, that's what the 8 and 9 are. It does not think of it if it comes after a string literal. That means anything that comes after the string literal is considered a string or a word. So it can't add strings together. It just puts them next to each other or combines them into one variable, I guess. So as you can see here, this particular example, if you have 7 plus 8, before the string literal, we get 15. But after, anything that happens after would be considered a string. Okay, so I'll show you the example, what actually happens. Okay, so let's show you in the example. So in this one, I added to it. Okay, so we have this. These are the three examples we just saw. So when we run this, what happens is exactly what happened, what we showed you in the PowerPoint thing. So all these get added together. The 7 is first, but then the 8 and 9 are just added together. And then this particular one, whatever comes after 9 is considered a string. So what happens here if I say added 54 on? So do you think that's going to be 9 plus 54 is 63? Or do you think it's 954 basically? I don't know, Ms. Maris. Let's look. Oh, you're so waiting. Oh, look, it's 9 and 54. Okay, so it puts it together. No matter what the number is, these just going to be adding it together. So then we have something like this. Let's look at this as an example. So when we add this together, ooh, my bad. I don't know what I just did there, but it was interesting. So we have 1 plus 7 plus 8, string literal, and then 9 times 3. What do you think happens here? Take a guess and then see what you know. All right, so let's see what happens. Oh, Barris, I swear to God. All right, we get 27. Now, why does it do 27 instead of 9 times 3? Well, there's a couple reasons. Okay, one reason is time sign does not have two different operators in the string output println thing. So the plus sign is the only thing that has two operators. That's the first thing. The second thing is it follows the order of operations, and it's going to do 9 times 3 first. Regardless of what the plus sign is, it's going to do 9 times 3 first. Then it does 1 plus 7 plus 8, and then it will do the string literal. So it actually does the math, and since times is first in order of operations, it's going to be that. Okay, but however, if I do put a plus sign after it, do you think it's going to be 27/8? Or now that I've done the math here, the 27, is it going to be 27 plus 8, which would be 35? So many wonderful things to think of. I don't know, Miss Paris. Bam, 27 and the 8. So because of the order of operations, okay, it does the 27 first here. Okay, then it comes back here, does all this, gets 16, string literal, and then it knows this is 27 plus 8, so it's now a string, 27/8. Pretty crazy. Now what happens with this one, do you think? So this particular example is an actual error. So if you look here, it's telling me this is an error. So what could the error be? Well, what do you think? All right, maybe I'll give you a question there. So 9 plus 3, okay, in order of operations, adding and subtracting go left to right. So it's not going to do the 3 and minus 7 first. This is the greatest thing I see. It says bad operand types for binary operator. The first type is a string, the second type is an int, which is exactly the problem. Since we're going from left to right, this is a number, so it gets 15. This is a string literal. And then it comes here, 9 plus 3 is 9/3. Or if we want to think of it as it's cookbook. So if it's cookbook, how can I subtract 7 from cookbook? You can't. So since we can't subtract 7 there because this is a string or a word and this is a number, that's the problem. How would we do the math here then? Well, how would we do the math? Well, it depends on what math you want to do. Let's say I just want to do the math here. What we do is we put parentheses around it. And then the moment the parentheses around it, and you know order of operations says everything done in parentheses happens first, guess what? What's done in parentheses happens first. Okay. So that is what happens. Okay. Well, 3 minus 7 is -4. That's why the -4. Okay. So it does the 9, but it just smacks it right up against to that. That's it. So it's just another string. Pretty amazing, right? Okay. Next, we have comments. Okay. There's 2 kinds of comments. 3 technically, but the third one is used only in when you're a coder and you're writing your own code. It's /**. And to end it, it's // or */ and this is called Java doc comment. We usually use that at the top of our work, okay, but it doesn't really matter. You'll see it, and it'll usually tell you important stuff, and when we get to more advanced things, I'll show you what Java doc actually does. But 2 slashes, and the slash is the one that's near the question mark or the shift sign. Is 2 slashes is a single comment. These are forward slashes, and then /* and // are block comments. So 2 slashes just means that everything from the line over is ignored by the computer. So just to be clear, comments are ignored by the computer. So syntax doesn't matter, and it's used to clarify code, and it's used to clarify code for the programmer or whoever the programmer is working for. So if you got this big huge thing of code happening and a lot of people are editing it, it's good to have a little code saying this next thing is going to do this, don't ruin it, kind of thing. I guess. So this is a single line. Double line, or not double, or block comments allows you to block out whole sections of code, not just one line, but many lines. So it's a multi-line comment, I'd like to call it. So another word for that would be multi-line comments. Okay. So we can just take a look at them. So we have just a couple examples about comments. This is a single line, so if I did this, I had to restart this one because of idiot things I did. But if it was like this, everything that's kind of grayed out is ignored. So if I run this actual code, nothing happens. There's literally nothing happens. The computer ignores everything, each one of these single lines. But if I take this one off, it's going to output this because this is no longer a comment. And if I move this multi-line piece up, so this is, we often use comments to not only clarify code, but we use it to debug. So if you're not sure where your error is happening, or if you have an error in your code, I like to just go through and comment things out so the computer ignores it, so I can kind of start back, not erasing code, just showing you spots, or checking if certain spots are working correctly. Alrighty. And then finally we have programming, some basic programming errors that you may occur as you go through. We'll go through when we program together, different errors that occur, how to deal with them, what they look like. Okay, syntax errors occur when you type something wrong. Okay, so there's a syntax error, means spelling, capitalization, semicolons. So in this, something like this, you would have a semicolon missing because at the end of a line you need a semicolon. And this one, system.out.println, S needs to be capital. So case sensitivity is an issue with Java. If something has a capital S, it needs to stay a capital S. And this capital S, as you guys remember from the last one, means that it's from a class. Okay, so that's, you'll become to recognize that as you get more comfortable with the programming. Another error that occurs would be a runtime error. So a runtime error is something that the computer doesn't know anything's wrong with it. It can still run. It compiles fine. There's nothing syntactically wrong with it. But when it runs, it glitches out, like dividing by 0 or something like this runtime error that we have here. It's saying s.character at 15. This particular one only has 12 characters, so if it's looking for something at 15, it's going to be like, I can't do that, and it's going to glitch out and end your program. Okay? So let's just look at a couple programs. So this one has all the slashes on it, so you know that it has some errors. So let's just look at that. So there's, depending on what version of BlueJ you have, the one at school, I'm going to try to get them to update it, but you never know. I need to get you guys to see this. Okay. Class has to be compiled to set breakpoints. Okay, so that means we need to compile it, and then it'll kind of tell you what it's expecting. It's not always a semicolon when it says a semicolon error, so we do have to work through those different cases, but that's often what it is. So it's usually in or around that line, you forgot a semicolon. Okay, so this particular one, this is a case problem. Now, why, I don't know why it's, oh, okay. So they don't always tell you all the errors that you have right away. Sometimes if you have a curly bracket error, I call them, or braces error, you have a problem. This is why we indent. You can see that this brace, opening brace, ends this one, and this opening brace doesn't have a missing one. It doesn't have a closing one, so we need to close it. And then what happens? I don't know why I keep doing this. Okay, I'm getting you. This is new because I have a new computer, so the new BlueJ is freaking me out. So once I fix errors, I might get more. Okay, so don't think that because you fixed an error and you have 15 more that you should go back and put that error back in, because you shouldn't. So this one says error found in class. It was doing some cool stuff like showing me what the error was. Packaged system does not exist. Awesome. That just means a spelling error or a capitalization error. And this one is a runtime error, so you don't see it now, but you see it when you're actually running it. Watch, it'll glitch out right here. So it'll end the program and say out of range, out of bounds, exception error, and that's exciting. Okay, so this, I know it takes a while, but these are the basic pieces of code. So we're going to be working on programs now that deal with this, and I hope you have fun and enjoy. Bye.